Our next speaker is Dr. Kenneth Ballantyne, a Yale-educated attorney at law, specialized in corporate and international investment law. Dr. Ballantyne will speak with us now about the local Citizenship by Investment program. Dr. Ballantyne.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Honorable Prime Minister, please allow me to adopt the protocol adopted in your absence. You know, I am happy to be here this morning. I've sought the opportunity to speak on our program many times before because I have noticed, I've read, and I've heard a lot of things being said about the program. And since I was associated with the program in some way, I would have thought that if people wanted to find out the truth, they would have sought me out. Obviously, they didn't want the truth. But this morning, I'm going to give you the truth. Please, someone prove me otherwise, that there appears to be this myth that we are so mired in the throes of mediocrity that the reality of having the very best citizenship investment program in the world scares us profusely. As a result, we do not know quite how to appreciate it, so we do everything humanly possible to bring it to a level in keeping with our own low expectations. How else then can one explain the negative things written, all the false images painted in the local press by our own journalists and commentators, or spewed wantonly on the airwaves and other forms of the media by uninformed individuals about a highly successful citizenship by investment program? I am here this morning to debunk that myth, to provide you with the facts, to instill confidence in your achievements, and to challenge all who claim to have knowledge, whether firsthand or hearsay, of any iota of alleged corruption or wrongdoing being leveled at this rebranded program. Let me say it here and now. If this Citizenship by Investment program is corrupt, then, ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at the face or listening to the voice of that corruption. Since this government decided to rebrand this program some 7 years ago, it has risen in that short time to become arguably the best of its kind in the world. This, in my view, is unadulterated proof that St. Kitts and Nevis can, when the opportunity presents itself, compete on a level playing field with every other country in the world and achieve and maintain a consistent ranking above or next to countries such as the United States of America, Canada, the United Kingdom, Austria, Australia, Sweden, or any other country that has a citizenship by investment program. To borrow your own words, we small, but we talawa. So wherein lies the success of the Citizenship by Investment program? The engine that drives our Citizenship by Investment program is the Citizenship by Investment Unit, the CIU. To win the Indy 500, a car needs a sound and fast engine. To get you from point A to point B, your domestic vehicle needs a reliable, good working engine. You know only too well what happens to your electricity when those engines that need must are not working as well as they should. Yes, the single most important element in our Citizenship by Investment program is the CIU, the engine that drives this program. And without the CIU working as efficiently as it has, the program would be doomed to failure and would rarely give the critics something to crow about. Now, the three pillars of the CIU. there are three unshakable pillars of the CIU, namely independence, integrity, and trust. Let me repeat them, because you heard what made a successful program just now. Independence, integrity, and trust. Disturb any of these pillars and the program is as good as the current West Indies cricket team. A lot of talent, but hopeless in delivery. Independence. Independence, the first of these pillars, is most essential to this program. Since the rebranding of this program, the government has taken a decision that there would be absolutely no political interference with the work of the CIU. Not from the Prime Minister, not from any Minister of Government, not from any senior government official, not from any agent, not from any applicant, and not from any developer. It is for this reason and no other that I can comfortably and confidently stand here this morning and say to you, if the citizenship program is corrupt, then I, Ken Ballantyne, am the face of corruption, and you need not look any further. 7 years ago, when I was asked to head the Citizenship by Investment Unit, I asked the Prime Minister to whom I was expected to report. His answer then struck a chord which resonates within me to this day. The Prime Minister looked at me in the eyes and he responded, and I quote, "No one. Dr. Ballantyne, the process starts with you and it ends with you. If you approve an application, it is approved. If you reject an application, it is rejected. I only want to see the files and certificates at the time for me to sign." Unquote. True to his word, that has been the procedure all these years. There has never been any interference in my work, and there has not been any citizenship by investment certificate signed that has not approved by me only after a person has met all of the criteria for citizenship. Ask any agent among you what happened when I rejected their client's application and they went to the Prime Minister. There was no recourse or compromise outside of the rules. Integrity. The second pillar of integrity is just as important, if not more important than the first. For both the integrity of the program and that of the staff is called into question. Both, I can state emphatically, cannot be questioned. Every single applicant 16 years and above, without exception, must undergo a due diligence background check. You heard the gentleman say that you must have that. Ours is the only program in the world where the due diligence check starts at 16 years. This has been hailed by the developed countries as a feature that far exceeds their security check. When asked by one such country why we started at 16 years, my response, that the terrorists were getting younger and younger, amazed them to the extent that they have since begun to consider some 16-year-olds for due diligence. Moreover, our due diligence is conducted by an international firm acceptable to the CIA, the FBI, Interpol, the SEC, the DEA, the UK, Canada, USA, the EU, the UN, and every international country and agency. We check for both blue-collar and white-collar crime, money laundering, terrorism, drug trafficking, source of funds, fraud, either in the public or private sector. In short, no stone is left unturned. Anyone who obtains citizenship through the Citizenship by Investment program is indeed a fit and proper person to earn that honor. So, it is for this reason that I take umbrage when uninformed, self-styled commentators write such diatribe in our newspapers and other forms of media in an effort to cause hate and division under the guise of a selfish motive. Permit me to read from an article appearing in one of our weekly papers under the title asking, SIDF not fully computerized. I quote in part, applications can come to the SIDF offices directly or via embassies, missions, consulates, from possibly all nationalities, speaking different languages. The process involves large sums, many banks, electronic and wire transfers, and many agencies. All these steps have to be documented and be traceable as the need arises. The SIDF offices must have the capability to link with international agencies, example FBI, Interpol, MI5, MI6. Our country's image is at stake. St. Kitts and Nevis must not be a rogue nation. Our country must not be a haven for rapists, pedophiles, drug and gun runners, and people who have committed crimes against humanity, unquote. How on earth can one who claims to love this country write such nonsense is beyond me? Is the author trying to scare potential applicants away? We must ask ourselves, what is the agenda of such a writer who clearly has not informed himself? To begin with, he should have informed himself that the SIDF does not accept applications for citizenship. All applications must go through the CIU. The SIDF is an option for investment in the same way as purchasing a property at Ocean's Edge, Christopher Harbor, or Silver Reef. They are approved projects in which a substantial investment qualifies the investor to apply to the CIU for citizenship. Again, his misinformation is laughable if it were not such a serious indictment on the program. No embassy, no mission or consulate can send an application to the CIU, and certainly not this SIDF. Every application filed for citizenship by investment must be done through a local agent, that is, our local lawyers and accountants and the like, who are registered as registered agents with the Financial Services Authority. It is through their offices every application comes, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Only the good make it. The bad and the ugly are rejected. This any agent can attest to. Finally, trust. The CIU cannot operate like the average government office or department. It never does. The office of the CIU operates above partisanship, above politics, above pettiness, highly professional, but never above the law. This is so because the CIU must be responsive and accountable to the government, the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, the developer and SIDF, the local agent, the applicant, and the international community. It must be all things to all men. The government and citizens of this country must expect the CIU to act to protect the integrity, values, and best interests of this country. They must expect that their citizenship and passport that they hold so dear is not devalued or sold at the altar of corruption, but that it is enhanced internationally. Developers and the SIDF who have provided the avenue for persons to invest in this country must trust the CIU to operate in a way that would keep the program sustainable and desirable, that the right persons would continue to invest in an ongoing basis. Local agents must feel confident and trust the CIU to deal fairly with them, not based on personality, political preference, or any discriminating manner, but in a true professional manner. Potential applicants and investors must trust the CIU to administer a sound program where their investment, and quite substantial I may add, is protected, since many of them do not come to this country before investing. And finally, the international community must have complete trust in the CIU, both the personnel and the program it administers, that under no circumstances can persons who would eventually hold citizenship and passports of St. Kitts and Nevis pose a threat to their country and their citizens, either as terrorists, criminals, money launderers, etc., which would cause all citizens of this country to be branded likewise. Finally, I only have 15 minutes, so I have to think. The Citizenship by Investment program is responsible for introducing much of the world to this federation. More, I dare say, than tourism has. As a country, we have become more popular and respected for our successful citizenship program than we are as a tourist destination in places like Europe, Asia, the Middle East, Russia, and China, to name a few. This program is the only thing that we as a small country competes with the large developed countries on a global basis and find our way at or close to the top of the class. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time we put our prejudices aside. Embrace this program for what it has become, a success that stands to benefit all citizens and residents of this federation. Let us hold our heads high because the success belongs to all of us. And we may be small, but by God, we Talawa. Thank you.